what's up guys, welcome back to the video. Today we're going to go ahead and talk about the all new Mac Studio, and actually we're going to talk about a whole bunch of things that Apple came out with during their March event, including the Mac Studio, Studio Display, the third generation iPhone SE, what else, we got 2 new colors for the iPhone 13. Starting with the iPhone SE third generation, we're getting a whole host of new hardware inside the phone. Nothing that's groundbreaking. Stuff that we already have with other devices like the iPhone 12, iPhone 13, right? 5G is what I'm talking about. 5G. So the iPhone SE third generation is getting 5G compatibility. However, it's not going to support the highest or fastest, I guess, 5G band. What is it called? I think it's millimeter wave. I think that's what it's called. So it's not going to support the millimeter wave, and you're only going to get the, I think it's like sub 600 something hertz or something like that. But anyways, which is still pretty good. I mean, that's crazy fast speeds in my opinion. So it is getting 5G, and we're also going to get a wait for it, an A15 Bionic. A15. You know what that means? That means the iPhone SE third generation is literally going to be the same in terms of performance and power and speed as an iPhone 13 or an iPhone 13 Pro. However, iPhone 13 Pro has an extra core of GPU power over CPU. But between the SE third generation and the iPhone 13 mini and 13, you are getting, or even the 13 Pro, you are getting the same core count for CPU. The iPhone 13 and iPhone SE third generation share the same core GPU core count, whereas the 13 Pro still has your 5 core GPU count. So a little bit more GPU power with the 13 Pro still, but the pure fact that we're getting the same chipset in their cheapest iPhone as the latest lineup of Apple's devices, being the iPhone 13, it is quite insane to me. I don't know about you guys, but that's kind of cool in my opinion. You're getting a more affordable device with the same power as something that's more up to date, the latest lineup. It's kind of cool. So anyways, yes, that is kind of it for the iPhone third generation, the iPhone SE third generation, I should say. You got the 5G, we have a newer, updated A15 Bionic chipset, which is again the same as an iPhone 13. And then aside from that, actually, that's pretty much it. I mean, besides the Bionic chip giving you much better battery life, Apple advertises an additional 2 hours extra. I don't know why I put up 4 fingers and saying 2. But you get an extra 2 hours over the previous second gen iPhone SE. Moving on to the iPhone 13 and 13 Pro, Apple actually came out with a all new color for each. One color for the Pro, one color for the 13. So for the 13, you're going to get the color called green, which looks pretty dark. It's a nice dark green, I think. It looks kind of cool in my opinion. And then for the 13 Pro, you're going to get what's called an alpine green. Still, it looks pretty cool. It reminds me of the 11 Pro Max, or I guess the 11 Pro in general. It was a midnight green is what Apple called it. But anyways, it reminds me of that. It's very similar in the color a little bit. Still, you'll notice a difference, but it reminds me of that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please hold your seats and, I don't know, keep your hands in the railing. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm really excited because I actually really do love this product that Apple unveiled. It is available for order now at the time I'm making this video. I'm really late on this, but you can definitely order this device. You probably already heard of it, to be honest with you. It's called the Mac Studio is what Apple's calling it. It is essentially, I think, there's no fact behind it, but I think it's probably the replacement for the iMac Pro. Because the iMac Pro was your 27-inch all-in-one desktop computer. Apple came out with their M1 chip. They put it in the all-new designed 24-inch now iMac. But you don't have a M1 Pro or an M1 Max model or version of that. Instead, Apple came out with a Mac Studio, is what they're calling it. Something completely new, something they'd never done before. However, it just looks like a thick Mac Mini. This looks like a thick Mac Mini. Like, it's thick. So with that being said, I guess it is similar to something they've done before for, because basically it's a similar enclosure as the Mac Mini. It's just a lot bigger, so they can pack more in there. But yeah, so they came out with the Mac Studios, what they're calling it. It is starting at the same price of the baseline 14-inch MacBook Pro, which is kind of cool. However, the differences between the two are going to be that you're going to get a M1 Pro and the baseline 14-inch MacBook Pro, versus for the same price of $1,999 on the Mac Studio, you're actually starting off with a base CPU that is going to be the M1 Max. So really cool there. Same price, more power, right? However, you get portability, really great battery life on the 14-inch MacBook Pro. It's amazing. If you haven't seen some reviews, go check them out. I unfortunately can't get my hands on one, but there are a plethora of videos up on YouTube. You can check out MKBHD. There's one of my favorites, Max Tech. Check out he has a lot of great videos, very detailed in the performance of these devices, thermals, everything. So go check out those guys. Now, we're gonna just focus on the Mac Studio. So yes, it does start at $1,999. You do get a M1 Max, which is going to be the, I believe it's the 20 port, I think. So as far as the ports you get on the Mac Studio, for the first time, I think on any like Mac Mini or even the Mac Pro, I don't think they've had like ports on the front. It's always been on the back of it. There's actually ports on the front. So you're going to have two USB-C on the front with an SD card slot on the front as well. Now on the back, you're going to actually get 4 Thunderbolt ports, which is kind of cool because, you know, this allows for a much higher data transfer rate. I believe it's like, is it 10 gigabits or 40 gigabits? As far as your Ethernet, you're going to get a 10 gigabit Ethernet port. You are going to have your regular, you know, power plug connector in there. You are getting 2 USB-A connections, HDMI, and a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, which will also support a high impedance headphones. So it's going to be good for you, I guess, audiophiles out there. I don't know too much about that, but pretty sure you guys, someone out there knows more. So anyways, however, I will say for the headphone jack, I kind of wish maybe that it would have been on the front instead of the back. I don't know. Comment down below if you agree with me. If not, hey, I'm open for opinions and I'm curious. I'm curious to know what you guys prefer. The headphone jack should be on the front or the back? Let me know. As far as connectivity, it is going to support Wi-Fi 6, not 6E, just Wi-Fi 6, okay? Obviously, it's going to support all the previous connections, A, B, G, and AC, so you got all that there. The Bluetooth is going to be 5.0, and then your 10 gigabit Ethernet connection, which I already mentioned. So that's all you're getting there as far as connectivity. Now, what do you get in the box? It's just going to be the Mac Studio, that big square box, and your power cord. As far as keyboard and mouse, you are going to have to buy those things separately. Oh, and your display, you're going to have to buy separately. Unless if you already have a display, which I'm sure most of you who actually have a studio already have displays. So you can easily just get it connected, and you're good. Now, speaking of displays, Apple came out with something called Studio Display. I'll let you guys a moment to take a look at it. Yes, I know, it's thin. It looks like an iMac, right? The 24-inch iMac. Or it's like a hybrid between the 24-inch iMac and the Pro XDR display. However, it is not a Pro XDR display, and it is not an iMac 24-inch. Instead, it is literally a display. That's it. It's just a display. But it's not just any display. This thing has a A13 Bionic chip. It has a 1080p webcam. It has a 6-speaker setup. What's nice about the A13 Bionic chip is that because of it, with the FaceTime camera, you actually have support for the center stage, just like you do on the iPad. So if you're familiar with that, center stage, it essentially focuses on the people or faces that are inside the frame. So you see, as I'm moving here, if I were to move here, the camera would actually shift and focus on me and move with me. It does have a limit, so it will stop at a certain point once it hits its limit, but it has that ability now. Now, of course, there are other high-end displays that have, you got your built-in speakers, built-in, webcam. However, they don't have center stage, and they also don't support spatial audio, Dolby Atmos. Well, I would say the ones that I know of don't support like the Dolby Atmos and spatial audio. So there are some key features that you just don't get with pretty much any other display out there. So this studio display kind of sets itself apart in that sense. Is it a bit pricey? I will say that it is a bit pricey because there are some displays. I think it's like some LG display. I can't remember. I watched a review on it a long time ago, but that one was like very similar with how the monitor display is itself, like the resolution and the nits and everything. That one started, I think, at like $1,300-$1,400, I think it was. That's not bad, but you are spending a couple extra $100 for that studio display. With the base model, you are going to get just the tilt motion, so where you can just tilt it. That's about it. Now, if you do want to get the tilt and height adjustment, that is going to run you from $1,599 to $1,999, so an extra $400 there. And then there's also a third option, which is for the VESA mount adapter. What sucks about this monitor, I think personally, is that you don't have the ability to just kind of put a mount option to it. You can't there's no adapter where you can just take it off and put it on. It's literally baked into it. It's not removable, then you can just hook it right back up to a stand. Can't do that. It's either what you choose is what it stays with. That's it. As far as if you can go back to Apple and get it changed, I have no idea. We'll have to see. That'd be kind of cool if they could do that at the Game Store or something, but I guess not. The other option you have is going to be your display type. So you have your standard glass, which is pretty glossy, and then you have your nano texture glass, which will add an extra $300. So if you do the nano texture plus the tilt and height adjustment stand, you're looking at a total extra of $700 added to that base price of $1,599. Personally, I like the standard glass. I don't really have any problems with the nano texture. I just prefer the standard nano glass. Anyway, this display literally has a 5K display, which is honestly basically the same as the iMac Pro 4 that they pretty much got rid of and no longer sell. It's like they just took the display, just put it onto this, separated it, so it's not all in one. It's a separate computer, monitor, and everything. It is 600 nits of peak brightness, so you do get some pretty good brightness levels there. You have True Tone. It does have an anti-reflective coating to start with, but then you can add the nano texture glass as an option to add a little extra, reflective protection there. It is supporting a 3 microarray system, which is actually pretty cool. The mic system that Apple uses on their phones, their iPads, honestly, for me, they sound really, really well. I'm sure some of you can agree. If not, that's fine. Everyone's open to their opinion. I love it. Comment it. This monitor will also have 4 USB-C ports. I believe it's going to be 3 USB-C, and they're all USB-C, but the ones that support higher data rates is going to be called Thunderbolt, which is what Apple calls it. So, so you basically have 3 USB-C and then 1 Thunderbolt port. You can actually connect to your MacBook Pro and you can do fast charge. 97 watts. That's a lot. That's coming from your monitor, bro. That's crazy. So that's it for the studio display. Now, what about the Mac Studio, the actual computer that was the highlight of the event? Well, let's go ahead and dive into it. Yes, it is called the Mac Studio. It is designed to target exactly what's in its name. Studios. You got video editing studios. You got sound studios. You got all types of studios, photography studios, all types of different scenarios you could possibly think of. That is going to be a studio. This is a computer that's built to be inside of almost any studio. Choose up the least amount of space possible on your desk for a computer that can house this kind of power is insane. So for the base price of $1,999, you're actually getting an Apple M1 Max chip, which is going to get you a 10-core CPU with 8 performance cores and 2 efficiency cores. You're going to get a 24-core GPU, a 16-core neural engine, and a memory bandwidth of 400 gigabits per second. That's wild. Now, with the M1 Ultra, it literally doubles everything. So your media engines technically stay the same. You're getting double the CPU, double the performance cores, double the efficiency cores, double the GPU core, double the neural engine, and double the memory bandwidth. So instead of 400, you're getting 800 gigabits per second in memory bandwidth. That's wild. Now, even with the base Mac Studio, you can actually configure it up to a M1 Max with 10 core CPU, 32 core GPU, and 16 core neural engine. Now, as far as the M1 Ultra Mac Studio, you can actually upgrade it all the way up to a 20 core CPU. However, you are going to be able to increase that 48 core GPU to a 64 core GPU, and you will still have the 32 core neural engine. So you're really just upgrading the GPU, you're just getting more power. The memory starts at 32 gigabytes of unified memory with the M1 Max Studio. You are going to be able to upgrade that all the way up to a 64 gigabytes of unified memory. However, from 64, that brings you into the next step, which is going to be the M1 Ultra Max Studio, which starts at 64 gigabytes of unified memory and can be configured up to 128 gigabytes of onboard unified memory. As far as storage, we're looking at a starting of 512 gigabytes of onboard storage, but can be configured all the way up to 8 terabytes. Now, that is for the base model with the M1 Max chip. And starting with the M1 Ultra Max Studio version, you are getting the base amount of storage of 1 terabyte, but can also be configured up to 8 terabytes, just like the base one. You can configure all the way up to 8 terabytes. So as far as video support, like hooking up to monitors and whatnot, this thing will actually support up to 5 displays. Like it'll do 4 Pro XDR displays. That's crazy. And that's over the USB-C connection and 1 4K display. That the 4K is going to be the one 4K display is going to be from the HDMI connector. So basically using up the USB-Cs for 4 Pro XDRs and then 1 HDMI that it has 4K up to 4K at least. Now, as far as the price for the M1 Ultra version, it is going to double the price. So instead of paying $1,999, you're actually jumping up twice the price, which is going to put you at $3,999. Quite frankly, even if you were to max this thing out, you're still spending way less than even a slightly tripped out Mac Pro, which at this point, I feel bad for everyone who purchased a Mac Pro because this is so much cheaper and you're getting like power that's practically better, or in a lot of cases matching it. So it's just I feel bad for you guys with the Mac Pros, man. Sorry. But yeah, so if you're looking for a computer that has power to do your video editing and your photography, your Photoshop, all that good stuff, DaVinci Resolve, I don't know, whatever you may use it for. If you are someone that needs this kind of power, this will be the computer for you. Now, as far as how that translates to real world performance, unfortunately, I can't test that out, but go ahead and check out MaxTech. He does a lot of great reviews and performance tests and benchmarks of it. Really checking out like real world usage, just going into apps, seeing things, export times, all kinds of crazy cool tests. So if you want to check that out, I'm pretty sure he has a couple of videos already posted up about that. But these things are insanely powerful. In my opinion, insanely affordable for the power you're getting, because to get this power, you'd be spending a lot more traditionally anyways. So definitely do your research, you know, dig deeper into it, and really figure out if this is something that's going to be great for you. Me, I don't really shoot too much 4K anyways, so it's not going to be something that I need. It is something I want. I want the studio display. I want the studio display. Would I get it? Yeah, because I actually am in the market for an 8K camera. I just don't know which one I want to get yet. So at some point I will be editing 8K footage. But when that time comes, I will look at hardware that needs that. But for now, I think that's all I have for you guys. I hope I covered pretty much the majority of it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, you know what to do. Hit that thumbs up, and you know, subscribe for some notifications on my new videos, guys. I'm gonna try to be more consistent too. Again, comment down below what your opinions are. I love to see different people's opinions. You know, I can't think of everything, and you know, I'm trying to be very responsive with you guys down there in the comments. So with that being said, I'll see you